Okay, this is Mount Baker in Washington State. It's a little bit north of Seattle and a little bit south of the Canadian border. But it's a beautiful stratovolcano, which I'm also going to call the Composite Volcano. Relatively steep sides and relatively gentle bases. This one actually is covered by snow and ice all year round, so it is glaciated, but you can see lots of different rocks. Nice dark reddish color showing you volcanism. Here is a topo map of Mount Baker, and as you can see, Mount Baker's got this upper area, and then it goes down to this flatter area, and then it goes back up to this peak. You can see the summit crater. You can see, you can see the Grant Peak. You can see Summit Crater, relatively flat area, and up to Sherman Peak. These symbols all represent, I'll show those to you one time. This is from turnallyear.com, and you can see there are ski trip symbols, there's panoramic view symbols, and there's view pictures symbols. So here's a couple of ski, there's a panoramic, and here's a view. And you'd probably get a really good view of a panoramic view. Here you'd get a nice view looking in that direction, panoramic view looking this direction, lots of beautiful views. But if you take a look at it, I'm going to try to go over the 9 laws of contour lines, although I don't have them written down, but I'm going to try to go over them. If you take a look at it, all contour lines are closed circles. They're all represented by points of equal elevation, so as long as you see every one of these lines, and that's 6,600 right there, when you see these lines, they're all relatively the same elevation. They all would close in on each other if the map were big enough, but as you can see, it goes off the map this way. Not exactly the way I showed it to you, but it works that way. It shows you steepness in terms of lines being closer together or farther apart. Closer together, farther apart. The top of it actually gets kind of gently sloped up at the top. But it's fairly steep on the sides, especially this side, not so much this side. And if you, let's see what other kind of things are there. Points the contour line represents, they're closed if the map's big enough. Few exceptions, they can't cross. Okay, so contour lines can't cross, and if you take a look, they don't cross. There are a few exceptions, but I didn't see any exceptions on this map, and that's why they call them few exceptions, because it just doesn't happen very often. Moving from one contour line indicates a change in elevation. So if you're going from this contour line right there to that contour line right there, or that one, you're changing your elevation. If you can look at the lines, that's 6,000 maybe, and these are 5,600. We're going uphill, and I know that also because we're going to smaller and smaller circles. There's always 4 intermediates in between the index contours. If you see darker ones there, like this one, that's the index contour. These are intermediates, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those to the next one, and then there's 4 more to the next one, and 4 more to the next one. If you find a place where there's more than 4, so if you go from like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've got to change in elevation. You're actually going downhill rather than uphill. If you take a look at these V's, there's the 9th law. The V actually points uphill. So there's the creek. The creek's flowing down this way. You have intermediate creeks if the line is dashed. You have almost flowing creeks all the time if they're solid. The ice, which melts in the summer, probably does a really good job of feeding these creeks, these small little streams. The closer they are, we've done that one. A series of closed contours represent a hill. So if you take a look at the top of this volcano up here by Grant Peak, closed circles, a series of them represent a hill. Hatchard lines, I don't remember if there was a hatchard line on this one or not. I hate when I do that because I can't drag it. I have to use the scroll bars. Hatched lines. They're relatively easy to see, which is why I can go through this thing kind of quickly. And I would expect to actually see some if we can get ice melt, so I'm looking primarily on the outside. I'll show you where some will be eventually if I can't find one. And I'm not going to look much longer. If we go down to this pocket lake, which was down here somewhere, this pocket lake right there, if this were to dry out, and basically what that means is if the glaciers disappear and it doesn't rain enough, actually there's a hatchet one right there, that's a lake, and the lake is in a depression, and the depression is lower on the inside, where normally when you have a small circle, it's higher elevation on the inside. If it's lower, we actually do these hatchet lines, and I don't think I can get any bigger than that. Okay, and then the V, we did that one. Those are the 9 laws of a contour line. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Mount Baker, beautiful place.